All right, for this week's Parsha preview, I'm going to raise a halachic question, and I'm really not sure I know the answer, but I don't know who else to turn to and ask because I can't ask my fellow rabbis because most of them won't understand my question, which is, can I still listen to Pink Floyd? Pink Floyd played an important role in my life. It was in 1993 that I sped off to Philadelphia with my kids for my first Pink Floyd concert. And it was magnificent. It was memorable. And I became a huge Pink Floyd fan. But now we have come to discover that Pink Floyd is no fan of ours, or I should say Roger Waters, one of the major players in the Pink Floyd repertoire, is no friend of ours. In fact, he could almost be listed as an enemy. He is a leader of the boycott divestment movement against Israel. He has called Israel's actions the actions of the Nazis. And at performances of his, he has pigs hanging with Jewish stars. And so people are choosing to boycott Pink Floyd. The city of Frankfurt, Germany, just canceled a concert he was supposed to give because of his track record on Israel and the Jewish people. So what am I to do? And it's not such a simple question because the whole question of boycotts is not such a simple question. I learned that the first year I was rabbi here at Beth Villa, the first high holiday, the first Yom Kippur, the first Yiska sermon, I chose as my subject why I don't purchase products made in Germany. Why I thought that was the one subject that people at Beth Villa were anxious to know where their rabbi stood is still beyond me. But be that as it may, I did state I do not purchase any German products. I was raised in a home where we didn't purchase any German products. What I didn't know at the time was that sitting out in the audience was a man by the name of Robert Russell, who owned Russell Mercedes. So he must have been sitting there thinking, this new rabbi ain't good for my business. But I have to tell you, to his everlasting credit, he never threw it up to me. Quite the contrary. He's been and is one of the largest contributors to Beth Villa. But the issue isn't Robert Russell. And the issue isn't German cars. Because I want to tell you something. I've never bought a German car, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, there was a time I felt that I should be boycotting. But then some years ago, I was part of a rabbinic mission to Berlin and the rest of Germany. And I couldn't help but say to myself, these aren't the people who did anything against the Jews. If anything, these people, the German people, have expressed more remorse, more regret, have asked for more forgiveness than any other of the European countries where plenty of Jews were killed. So maybe I should be buying a German car, and I'm tempted, I really am. But I figure at this stage, I held out this long. I can hold out a little bit longer. But what about Roger Waters and Pink Floyd? Well, If you look in the Torah now, Torah portions, you read some interesting things like, you shall not hate your brother in your heart, you shall surely rebuke your neighbor. I'm not supposed to boycott Roger Waters. I'm supposed to criticize him. I'm not allowed to hate him. And in fact, we are told that it is our goal to win over an enemy and win him into a friend. It says it right in the Torah. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying down under its burden, do not just walk by, stop and release him. You're supposed to help your enemy with his donkey. It looks like I'm going to Pink Floyd concerts again, but it's not so simple. There's a famous verse in our Torah portion. You shall not take vengeance or bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. Don't take vengeance, no grudge against the children of your people. Does that mean just Jews? And even more, what about you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself? Am I obligated to love Roger Waters? No, and I don't. Well, so let me tell you something about this love your neighbor as you love yourself. Most agree that that only pertains to your fellow Jew. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. Rav Aaron Soloveitchik gave a beautiful explanation. He said there's two kinds of loves. There's a love that comes from your heart, and there's a love that comes from your head, from your mind. To your fellow Jew, it has to be a love that comes from the heart. Blind love. You have to be blind to whatever he or she is doing wrong. He's a fellow Jew. You have to love him. But to others, there we have love of the mind. Our mind has to tell us, is this person worthy of our love? And if he's not, we are under no obligation to love him. That's why there's a distinction in Jewish tradition, Ahavat Yisrael and Ahavat Abriot. Love of your fellow Jew and love of God's creation. Your fellow Jew, a love from the heart to all mankind. Depends how they're acting towards you and how they're treating you. Roger Waters is an enemy of the Jewish people. Sad to say. And I would love to still be able to go hear his concerts. What does one thing have to do with the other? I came across a quote from Somerset Maugham that tells me, art, if it is to be reckoned as one of the great values of life, must teach man humility, tolerance, wisdom, and magnanimity. The value of art is not beauty, but right actions. Roger Waters' music might be beautiful, but his actions are miserable. And if I've gone 78 years without buying a German car, you have no idea how long I plan on living without listening to Roger Waters and Pink Floyd. Thanks for listening. Shabbat Shalom.